Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Cheeseman Podcast YouTube show. I am not the caller. You can tell because we're pretty much on time. We're not 7 minutes late like normal. Caller is sick with tonsillitis, so we're wishing you the very best recovery, caller. We've got a fair bit to get through. The internationals, the World Cup draw, of course, and we've got Newcastle on the weekend. Great lineup as always, so let's go around the room. First up, looking very snug in his beanie hat in Australia, we've got Davo. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, good, thanks. I thought I'd wear a beanie because when JP's normally on, he wears a beanie because it's always cold in Melbourne. And it's a tribute to Mr. Muir, the beanie maestro of the cheese room.
He does. I don't know who pulls it off better. I think yours looks more comedic, but Paul's looks a bit scarier. Like so they both work. Also joining John. How you doing, John?
I'm all right. You're breaking up a little bit for me. I don't know if it's your end. But I've also got to do this because it's a bit wrong. There we go. That's better. Okay. You're in the right place. Yeah, I'm good. Been a busy week at work. Big run sheet. But yeah, let's go for it.
Let's do it. Also joined from Brixton, Mr. Paul Muir. How you doing, Paul? It's not racist.
All right. No, we've discussed this. It's freezing in London. It is proper cold. It's like -2 or something. Hence the beanie, because I think my fuel prices are going to go through the roof quite soon. So I'm keeping the heating off to try and save some money. But no, guys, it's good to be here. It's always nice to be on the subs bench, and then certain personnel can't make it, so I get a late sub in. It's always nice to be on.
You are a super sub, Paul.
Yeah, you're Lucas Moura. Who else was our super sub? Like Defoe was our big super sub, wasn't he?
Was big sub.
Yeah. We also may be joined by Colin from Talk and Ball. Is that his show,
yeah.
John? Yeah. See, I know my stuff. So, guys, great to see you. It's great to be back on YouTube as well. I can't remember the last time I've done a YouTube, so it's good to be back. And John is in charge of the buttons, thank God, because I don't have my mouse plugged in. But let's get cracking in. We had the World Cup draw today. Oh, before we go on, super chats are available, and the only way to make sure that you get your comments up. And we also, before we start, would like to wish all our Muslim cheeseheads a very happy Ramadan from everyone at the Cheese Room. Guys, World Cup draw. Have we got a graphic?
There you go.
Wow, you've got a graphic. I'll go here.
Look at that.
That way.
Cool. So one thing about the draw today, like I was listening, and Andy Townsend, I was listening on TalkSport. I couldn't find it on TV out here. God, he's awful. He really is dumb. I'm Irish. Like I have a soft spot for him because he played for Ireland as well, etc. But mate, like it was like, oh, Mexico and Argentina can't be in the same group because they're. I'm like, no, they're not. They're nearly 8,000 miles apart. Like, come on, man. Like that's like saying England and Egypt should be in the same group. Come on. Anyway, be cultured is what I'm saying.
But he's not even Irish, is he? He's one of those fake Irishmen.
Yeah, he's Jackie Charlton, sort of with Phil Babb and all the rest. You know, Jackie Charlton waved his magic wand.
Phil Babb. There's a name for the past. Phil Babb.
Oh, bad.
We tried to sign him, didn't we, before we went to Liverpool?
Yeah,
we did try to sign him. Yeah, we did.
I don't think we stamped up enough money. Sounds familiar.
That'd be sugar. That'd be sugar.
No, instead we bought Ramon Vega.
Oh, I love Ramon. Ramon Vega was the first name I had on my shirt as on my first ever Spurs shirt. I got.
Why?
Because at the time they charged by letter, and Wolf Fox wasn't in the team, so Vega was the shortest name.
Wow,
that is amazing.
Wow.
50, right? Anyway, so are we happy with England's group? I'll go to you first, John. So we have Iran, one of Ukraine, Scotland, and Wales, and also USA.
Shush, David. So obviously, as somebody with Welsh heritage, who basically lived all my life in England, apart from the year where James was born, I am a bit split, and obviously I'm hoping Wales get through. But it's quite funny. I was listening to TalkSport on my way home just before the draw started, and they were, I think it was Adrian Durham. They were all asked, "What do you think might happen, and who would be England's best options?" And Adrian Durham did say Iran and USA. I can't remember who his fourth one was. Because the general feeling is USA have got good players, but they're not quite there yet. They're not ready to step up. They're very much focusing on the next World Cup, obviously. Iran, I've had a quick look at the results. I don't know much about them. They've done all right in tournaments recently, but they're an unknown quantity, and that will be England's problem. As much as they can do, video research and stuff, it'll be hard. We probably haven't played against any of these players before in European leagues or anything, have we? So it will be a bit of a surprise. And those are the games that catch you out quite often.
Well, they may be an unknown quantity to you, but I've actually been to an Iran game. Okay, I went to Iran versus Bosnia in the 2014 World Cup. I got the ticket for free, obviously. I took my son. It was pretty much empty, the stadium. It's Iran and Bosnia. We're in Brazil. But it was great. I think it was 1-1. I think Perisic scored for Bosnia. I think maybe he might not even be Bosnian. But yeah, it was great. My son...
He's Croatian.
Is he Croatian? It was... Yeah. I can't remember who it was then that scored for Bosnia.
I'll Google it for you.
So I have been to an Iran. I've never been to an England game, but I've been to an Iran game. Davo, how about you? Happy with the draw before we get on to Australia?
Yeah, I mean, do you remember 2010? We got the was that South Africa? What was the draw there? We all thought it was easy. Who did we get? It was the
USA.
Yeah, and then
that was
was that Algeria?
Oh God,
we had three easy. The Sun said ease or whatever, and it was, and basically we screwed it up. We just about crawled through, but I think that as far as the draw is concerned, Iran, USA. I'm looking forward to seeing that match just for giggles. Should we say hello to Colin?
Hey, Colin, how you doing?
Hi, Colin.
He's on mute.
He's on mute.
I'll unmute you. If it's me.
I always do that. But yeah, how are you gents doing tonight? I'm doing well.
Good to see you. Well, we're going to get your take on the big USA England matchup at the World Cup. What timing? Do you know what I mean? Yes.
From England's never beat the US in anything but a friendly, so I'm excited for the trend to continue. Let's say
England are going to get revenge for 1950 at some point, Colin. I think.
Hey, not this time. Maybe the next World Cup. But I've got the faith. I don't know, blind faith maybe, but faith nonetheless.
So, Davo, just to go back to you. Sorry, you still making a point?
Am I? Who knows? Carry on like this forever. Sorry. Yeah, look, it was an easy group, and we thought that we'd get through it easily, and we crawled through. We played shocking, and then Germany put us out of our misery in the knockout rounds. But this time around, we've got a better squad, so I think we should be able to do this. And look, I think it's only right that Ukraine. I think Scotland and Wales should forfeit their place and let Ukraine go through. It's the right thing to do. What do you reckon, John?
I don't think so. Merit.
Jog on, Dave.
Yeah, come on, Dave.
Dave, I'll get the 19-year-old on you again. That didn't end well nicely the other day, did it?
Listen, I've been having my Welsh fishing rod out for the last 2 weeks.
Oh, I see. Okay, so I get it. I get the reference. Mr. Muir, thoughts on the draw, Mr. Muir?
I thought, I can't get excited about this World Cup at the minute. For various reasons, but that draw doesn't look too bad. I don't really know about Iranian football. USA, I think we should beat. I think they're trying to peak for the next one. We should get through that. I think it's not going to cause us any problems in any shape or form. Hopefully, but I'm struggling to get excited about Qatar and the background to that. But anyway, let's not get too down about politics at 9:15 on a Friday night. But the draw itself, we should be fine.
Yeah. And on to you then, Colin. It had to happen, USA England, and we will get revenge for. Well, first of all, there was the draw where we should have beaten you, and it was Robert Green who threw the ball into the net. He must have an American aunt or uncle somewhere that he wanted to keep happy. But different teams this time. How are the USA shaping up?
So to be honest, up until I don't know, the past month or so, I hadn't been following the U.S. men's national team since a couple of years ago. A lot of the players that I knew a lot about and had really liked have since moved on, retired, been replaced in the national team, and so I had to refresh myself. And it looks like the United States is putting together a decent team, but everybody that's I want to say really good. It's also pretty young, and so I think that they might be a bit young for this World Cup, but maybe the one after the following World Cup, I think they could be a lot more of a threat. But we've got some good young attacking players. Yeah, I'm excited. I know that the U.S. typically kind of plays a low block counterattack, or at least they did back in the day. They've sort of moved away from that, but I wonder if against England especially we'll kind of employ something similar. I'm just excited to see. This is the same United States team. I know we beat Germany in a friendly. We've got some, a couple of little wins under our belts, and maybe these boys can do it. Who knows? But against Harry Kane and I don't. The only good thing I got to say is I think Pickford's going to be your starting goalkeeper, and I don't exactly trust him. So.
Well, it could be that guy from down the road that could be ahead of him by the time, because Pickford could be in the Championship by the time the World Cup comes along. So, a side question though, Colin, do you remember Alexi Lalas? I don't know why I.
That. Yeah. Well, I only know him really as a pundit, though. You know what I mean? Okay. I know him. Yeah.
Because he was like the face of US football in the 90s with Kobe Jones.
See, Kobe Jones is who I remember. Yeah.
John Harkes was a good player.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Good.
The thing was, Colin, you'll have to search a thing called Phoenix from the Flames from fantasy football, because it was a sort of a comedy show in the 90s with Badil and Skinner, and they used to relive great moments or goals. And they did one with Alexi Lalas, and it's quite funny. If it's on YouTube, so have a look at it. Eric Ronaldo, yeah.
I'll check it out. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh yeah, Eric Ronaldo. That guy's kind of a blowhard, I guess. He's kind of annoying. But he's all right. He's okay.
Don't forget our American goalkeepers that we've had.
Two, yes.
And
You guys do produce really good keepers. Like Howard, Friedel,
bald ones. If you're not bald, you might as well not even apply for the job. It seems like.
Well, all their sports involve catching a ball. That's why, Brendan.
Yeah. And the baldness to be streamlined, so there's nothing holding you back for diving across.
Right.
Interesting. I heard David Pleat speaking recently about Keller, saying he was a great keeper, but he couldn't see the ball under floodlights.
God.
So he had a complete nightmare. Yeah. He
wore glasses.
So he must have been wearing contacts, and I guess the floodlights caused him all sorts of problems, apparently.
Well, he let one in against us for Leicester in '99, so I like him for that, if not for what he did for Spurs. The first game, though, Davo, is there any significance in the fact that England will be playing their first game on the opening day of the World Cup, the first time that we've done that since 1966? So it's
coming home. That's the first time since 66. It's written in the stars. Harry's going to lift the World Cup. There's going to be a ticker tape parade in Leicester Square. We're all going to have the day off if we live in England.
So does Harry stay at Spurs then if he wins his trophy with the national team? Is that going to be enough to satiate his trophy lust?
If he's still with us by November, yeah. If he's still with us, because he could go in the summer before the World Cup, but we hope that we get Champions League and he stays, and we'll get onto that shortly for sure. But yeah, you'd think that he doesn't really turn up in finals. He didn't really in the Euros. He didn't in the Champions League final. Didn't in the League Cup. 2 League Cup finals he's had. So he loves to point the finger and sort of say, "Oh, I want my trophies. I've got to leave to get trophies." If he'd turned up in a final or two, he may have had some. Sorry, David.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a definite sign. We're going to win it. We're going to win a lot.
It's written in the stars. But so sticking with you, Davo, on Australia. So the Aussies have to beat UAE on the 7th of June and then Peru. So you've got 2 more games to qualify. So winner of that was your...
Yeah, but Australia didn't get out of their group because Japan beat them 2-0 in Sydney the week before last. And I think if Australia had been carrying on playing until now, they wouldn't have scored. I mean, they had chance after chance. But the pitch they played on was an absolute disgrace. And this is probably the weakest Socceroos team that they've had in a number of years. I was there in 2005 when they beat Uruguay in the playoffs on penalties. It was the best football night in Australia I've ever seen. The atmosphere was amazing. It was a cracking night. But I don't think the Socceroos are going to qualify. And if they don't qualify, I will be telling my work colleagues that I look forward to their support of the England team and ingratiate myself further with the local population.
Is there a rivalry there?
I did notice that Dave referred to Australia as us, so I'm assuming Dave is taking on some kind of pseudo kind of Australian kind of supportership of Australian football in this World Cup. Would that be right in saying that, Dave?
The way it works in my household is that the Rio World Cup, the Socceroos England played the first weekend. The Socceroos played first, so had the Aussie flags out. Everyone's supporting the Socceroos. Next day, it's England Italy. Get St George out. We're supporting it. My oldest son says he's supporting England. My youngest son says he's supporting Italy. And out on the balcony he went until he changed his mind. That's how it works. It's England first. It's England. It's England play Australia. It's England. End of. But you got to support Australia as well.
Okay. Can I just put this up? So the caller is saying great draw. He's resting, as Brendan mentioned. He's got tonsillitis. Hoping he'll be at the game. So yeah, just to get well soon, Owen. And thank you for your ticket because I'm sitting in your seat this time.
Ooh,
Does he ever sit in that seat?
Oh, you right, Brent? Has he gone? He's frozen on this, isn't he? Okay. Let's have a quick look. So, what we think the group of death is, Dave?
Group of death. What did I say at 5 o'clock this morning?
I think we said G and H, didn't we? Were the worst ones.
Yeah. Just remind me. We get the groups up again. Sorry.
Yeah, stick the graphic up.
Oh, there he is. He's back.
Group G is Brazil, Serbia, Switzerland, and Cameroon, and then Group H is Portugal, Ghana, Uruguay, and South Korea.
Yeah, I think if you look at them, that probably is going to be they're the toughest, I guess. But there's always one that surprises you, isn't there? There's always one big team who completely flops and fails.
Yeah, I reckon.
There's the group is Spain and Germany, though. Like who else? I suppose the other ones, the playoff in Japan. So you'd expect Spain and Germany to get through that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, they will. Yeah. Group A is going to be Netherlands. If they don't walk that, there's something wrong. But then they have these tournaments where they're terrible, and then they'll get to a final. They're very up and down, aren't they? But it's all right. Super Stevie Bergwijn.
Who are the Kiwis got to play in their playoff?
Are they playoff 1 or 2?
Costa Rica,
yeah. I'd like to see the Kiwis qualify.
I think they can beat Costa Rica. I don't think that's out of the question. Yeah. Having watched them recently, I don't think it'll be a close match, but I think Australia definitely has a chance.
No, Kiwis is New Zealand, mate. Kiwis.
Wow.
Is it Kiwis Costa Rica? Yes, New Zealand Costa Rica.
Well, then I don't think New Zealand can do it. I'm whoops. Yeah, forgive me there.
Okay, but then they've got Chris Wood up front for New Zealand. So
we'll come to Chris Wood.
Yeah,
we'll get to Chris Wood.
Yeah,
it's all linked in the show.
This is nice. I like the way you put this all together here. It's very.
You think we just throw this like throwing a custard pie at a wall? This is carefully planned. Let me tell you.
No, I can tell.
So no one ever
said me just then.
The Brazilians are fairly confident with their group as well, just looking at the WhatsApp group and friends chatting. So they've got Serbia, Switzerland, and Cameroon. You'd expect Brazil to have too much for all of them. Switzerland, they defend well, and Serbia, again, are quite aggressive. Cameroon, I don't know too much about, but they were in the pot 4 of the lot. So, yeah, Brazil's fairly confident, and we miss them. Apparently, if England do go through as group winners, which we should, we miss Brazil, we miss Spain. I think France are the most dangerous team in our half of the draw. So as long as we win the group. So, it's coming home. I'll stop.
I think if you look at the group of players that England have got, they've got a lot of young, exciting players. They can work 2 or 3 systems. Southgate's quite a pragmatic coach, but he's trying these young players out and trying to see if he can grow into games and get them playing, together. So there is potential there.
Is he though? I mean, he's just like this whole thing with Maguire. It just reeks a little bit of desperation. I know, good manager like backing his players, but Maguire should have been nowhere near that squad last fortnight. It should have been Dyer. That's not even with bias. It should have been Dyer. It's just like I think Southgate has his favourites, and obviously, he's been there a while now. He's seen some of these guys come through the ranks, but I still think that. I think that's going to be his downfall, is having those favourites and playing them, and then and not playing the people that are in form, or the players that are more exciting and they can change games. I just think, Southgate is the weak link. I can't. So our first 11 could beat most teams in the world. It's whether Southgate's got the tactical nous and also the balls to go for it at certain times, which I don't think he has.
And that's the question. I mean, I'll go to you, Dave, on that with Southgate, because you can look at it both ways. You can look at it and think, wow, we've been incredible since he's come in charge. But could also look at it and say, well, he should do. He is the most resourced. He has the best English group in a generation. Really great players. We should have won that final. We should have beaten Croatia in the semi-final of the World Cup, and we didn't. So the only time that he's come up against it, he's failed. But you could also say, well, we haven't been in a final since 1966. So where were you on the Southgate sort of yay or nay?
Well, statistically, he's the second most successful England manager of all time. So he's got us to a final and a semi-final. So you can't argue with that. I think that you can't underestimate the cultural refit he's done of the England team and their connection with the public. That 2010 World Cup I was talking about before, I was watching that in Hong Kong, and I think when the Germans got the third goal 20 minutes before the end, I turned my chair and just carried on drinking with my back to the screen. You had the likes of John Terry doing the "I was born to do this" press conference. You had the end of that so-called golden generation, and he's done an amazing job in terms of the culture of the team, reconnecting it with the public and reconnecting it with the media as well. So from that point of view, he's done a very good job. I think he's a bit like Poch, to be honest with you. When it comes to the really big games and his game management, he's lacking. I think that you've got to have a think about these two screening midfielders, that he's going to play them all the time. I think that's a bit conservative. But he's playing those two screening midfielders because I think we've got a few issues with our central defenders. Maguire's nowhere near the form that he's in. I think Stones, and I'm happy to be corrected, has been a bit in and out this season. And so he's got issues there. But he's done, as I said, from where he's taken that to Sam Allardyce, Sam Allardyce is statistically the most successful England manager of all time, played 1-1-1. And he's taken it from there. He's done a great job, but I think that he needs to make those big game decisions. And it's interesting, Paul, what you said about favourites, because I always thought that Dyer was a bit of a favourite for him.
No,
he kind of fits in the, Dyer's more of a cultural person and in touch with the world and all the rest of it, and a good representative of the squad, and he's not been picked. So I'll finish off the same token that Rashford wasn't picked for that squad, and I agree with you, Paul, here. If Rashford wasn't picked on his form, then Maguire shouldn't have been picked on his form.
Irrespective, though, the people booing him, like, what is that about? Like, come on, like.
I don't think any player, when I've ever been to football since I was going with my granddad and my dad, I don't think any player responds well to being booed and stuff. I think it's just we've seen a lot of it at the stadium, at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Let's call it a lane for now. It's this instant kind of like, people were writing off Kulusevski after 20 minutes after his first substitute appearance and stuff, and it's just like, booing helps no one in any shape or form.
Colin, I'll come to you. What's your thoughts on? I know, obviously, you're following the USMNT. Is that it? USMNT?
Just kind of out of necessity. I have to. You got to support the local team, of course.
Did you watch much of England? What were your thoughts on Southgate? And after Kerry's question, do you think that was it Kerry? Sorry, Becky's question. Is Southgate too nice?
It's a good question. Does he have? I know that you all remember, and I won't say the word. It's a bad one. But whenever Mourinho came into Spurs, he said he wanted us to be intelligent blanks, and I don't think that Southgate has the England team playing like that. I don't think you could argue that they're playing with that ferocity or intensity or that win at all costs attitude, and maybe that is down to Southgate being too nice. But you also think these players could get themselves up. They're the cream of the crop. They're the top players in the country. You'd think that they also could get themselves up to be able to play like that without the manager expressly telling them they need to. That's a tough one because I think Southgate's done a lot of good things, like you mentioned before. But he might. I mean, everybody's got a level, and everybody peaks at some point, and he might have peaked. We might be seeing top form Gareth Southgate right now, and maybe he won't get any better. It's hard to say.
Yeah. Well, John, on to the World Cup itself. You've been looking at the kickoff times. So what have you got for us there?
So UK time, obviously it's going to be different for all of us around the room here. UK time, it's going to be 10 a.m., 1 p.m., 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. So I don't know how that relates to you, where you are, Colin. I know, Brendan, some of them middle of the night for you, aren't they?
10 a.m., 6 a.m. here. So
right, okay. So actually, you're right.
6 a.m. beers, though. I mean,
yeah. So what?
You get it done.
For the first time ever, they haven't predetermined the actual fixtures based on whether you're A1, A2, A whatever, except for the opening game. They haven't said that game will be at 7 o'clock or whatever. They're actually having conversations with all the TV companies, which is the power of money, but also a bit of sensibility. Because if you remember to the Brazil World Cup, England played Italy. Or was it 11 p.m. at night? Wasn't that supposed to be at 1 a.m. or something? They did move it, but it was still a ridiculous time because it was midnight in Italy, 11 o'clock over here on a Saturday as well, which gave the police the heebie-jeebies. So they're actually going to be a bit more sensible about it and try and fit it so the Brazil games are more suitable for Brazil fans. Maybe the Australian games, I don't know what time would be best for them, Dave. Probably the 10 o'clock in the morning game would be best for if Aussies make it or New Zealand. So hopefully,
I'll still watch it if Australia don't make it. There's not a law here that says if Australia.
But if Australia make it, then the Aussie games themselves will be on at 10 a.m. probably because it will suit the Australian public, won't it?
They don't have to worry about 3 games for the Aussies. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but that's what they'll try and do is make it suit each team. For England, 7 o'clock in the evening games would be best because it'll be 9 o'clock, I think, in Qatar. So hopefully it'd be a little bit cooler. Would be my guess. I know they're going to play air-conditioned stadiums.
Good
and stuff.
point.
But,
yeah.
The Aussie kickoffs for those 4 slots you said it's 9 p.m., 11 p.m., 3 a.m., 6 a.m. So 3 out of 4's all right.
Right.
Yeah. We've got some dates for your diary, some Spurs dates. So we've got Sonny against Bentancur on the 24th of November, Højbjerg against Hugo Lloris on the 26th of November, and Gareth Bale against Hull 4 on the Algarve at 27th of November. Ooh, that's Davo. Joke.
That is a Davo joke, isn't it?
It's a crap joke, but
it's more of another Welsh fishing rod.
So
you've got the wrong Williams here, Dave. Not going to bite.
We're calling. You touched on it already, but USA. How far do you think you guys will get this World Cup?
Great question. Very tough to answer. Speaking with my brain and not my heart, I'd say the best we could possibly hope to do would be like a quarterfinal. But we, like I said, we do have some talented players offensively, defensively as well. But a couple of our offensive players really shine. Weah is a great player. I don't know. It all really just depends. I love tournaments like this. It's really opens up the possibility for some upsets, and maybe we can get further than that even. But yeah, I'm going to say quarterfinal.
Wow, good stuff. And I don't know if any of you guys watched the ceremony. I heard bits of the speech from Infantino. Infantino just looks like Sepp Blatter Mark II. He looks like a horrible, horrible person. But he was saying, we want this to be the World Cup of peace and the World Cup and talking about conflicts in the world and stuff. And he's like, hang on, mate, your mate Putin, who you gave an award to, or he gave you an award of like the key to Moscow or some shit like that. Where's the double standards here? Like he's holding the World Cup in Qatar. He's kicked out Russia, holding the World Cup in Qatar, where I think it was international human rights have said, or Amnesty International, or one of the international groups, found that there have been over 5,000 deaths of migrant workers, not all related to the World Cup, but the vast majority of them, a lot of them through sunstroke, sudden deaths, heart attacks. So Gianni Infantino, his words hold no credit with me personally. But TalkSport were like, oh, it's amazing what he said. Yeah, football can be a driver for change. It just wound me up. Paul, what were your thoughts on? I don't know if you heard Infantino's words, and what are your thoughts on the World Cup in Qatar for a start?
It shouldn't be there. I believe football can be a powerful change, but I don't want to see it in a place like Qatar. I don't believe anything comes out of UEFA and FIFA's mouth. I really don't. After we found out what Blatter and Platini are up to, as I said before when we were talking about the groups, I'm going to struggle to watch this World Cup. I think it's quite ironic that we're still taking the knee for very, very valid purposes in this country at our Premiership games, and then we are sending a national team. I know Southgate said a few things last week and the week before, but I still think it's quite ironic that we're sending a national squad to Qatar as with the stuff that you've mentioned there. It shouldn't be there. It's going to struggle with the infrastructure. It's going to struggle with the LGBTQ community, etc., etc. It's going to be a strange one. Not even with the timings we're talking about and like having a mid-season break. It's going to be a weird World Cup. I'll be very interested to see the fan response to it and the build-up and stuff. I hope it's not a damp squib, but I can't help that other people aren't going to watch it for the reasons we just spoke about.
I'm glad you used the word correctly, damp squib, and not damp squid, which I think is an IT crowd gag. It's like, a squid is already damp. It's like, it's the phrase. Anyway, so a few IT crowd gags. Well, let's move on to the internationals. Let's get up. There's a tweet that, John, if you want to pull it up from
this was a Facebook post by some chap that I saw called Muir. You want to read it out, Paul?
Serge Aurier is the only player to be sent off at all of the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, the London Stadium, and Wembley.
That's impressive, isn't it?
Never change, Serge. Yeah. Never change. I love you. And fair play to Jack Grealish. I don't know if you saw him. He's like, it's a friendly. Come on.
It's a friendly.
Leave him on. I'm beating him.
Yeah.
Because it did kind of kill the game. And with friendlies, the whole point is to try and at least feign the sort of the appearance of competitiveness. And the sending off just killed that. So I didn't watch the game. Did any of you guys watch the game?
I was at work. And I was sort of watching it. I was at work, and England were just all over them. They were very, very good. Unlike the Switzerland game where it took a long time to get going. First half, it was just all England, and it could have been a better cricket score easily. And like you said, second half, I didn't watch so much of it, but it seemed to be very much that you get this. A lot of people who like say about betting, as soon as a red card, just write the game off. Just don't even look at it. Move along, because red cards do just ruin games because teams just go, we're just going to defend, aren't we? Paul?
Yeah, I agree. The first one was was it dissent? He got sent off for like just chatting back to the ref.
Yeah,
it was the most random set of bookings that but it's Serge Aurier. Serge Aurier's name is random, isn't it? It's yeah, I kind of miss him a little bit. I don't shout as much at our right backs anymore at football games. I spent a good 2 seasons just screaming at Serge, just Serge get back, Serge take the throw properly, Serge do this. It was he's just he was definitely iconic for us for a bit for all the wrong reasons. But the game wasn't much the other night. As John said, there, as soon as the sending off, it was like it was a non-competition. It was a non-competition, which is a shame.
Yeah. Well, we also had other players in the qualifiers and friendlies. Harry came on for 30 minutes in that game, which was pointless. But thankfully, no injuries, and thankfully no injuries across the board, in spite of the best efforts of the Argentine FA. But we'll get on to that. So let's see what else there was. There was the game of Troy Parrott's injury. Who saw Troy Parrott's winner for Ireland against Lithuania?
That was amazing. What a strike on the half volley. That was it was beautiful.
That's the first ever.
He dropped off the 18-yard box and he picked up that space really well. It's almost like he knew where that ball was going to go, and he took it and he brought it inside, and it was almost like Eriksen-esque, and he just hit it, and it was like, Christ, that's a really good goal. Really good goal. It was good. It was good.
He's developed, isn't he? He's not playing as a 9 MK Dons.
He's playing more wide, isn't he?
Yeah.
I've been reading this week about him, and he's playing more kind of wide right. Dare you say he's kind of like where Kulu's playing now and Steven Bergwijn's playing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, all that time when we were like screaming for him to play down the middle as an 18-year-old shows how much we know when like Jose wasn't playing him. But seemingly he's beginning to like really kind of switch on and play now, according to some of the MK Don Reddit sites I've been reading this week. Yeah.
But there was an article in the Athletic about him this week as well, and they were saying that some people at the club think ultimately he's not going to make it at the club, and that he'll be moved on. So we'll see what happens.
I think I've said this before. I think there's going to be a lot of collateral damage under Conte for our young players. Devine, White, they've been in there or thereabouts, haven't they? It's quite clear that Conte, after some of the conference games, doesn't trust the B string squad or the players coming through. I think we'll see a few of these. I think we'll see a few of these guys go.
Markandé went under his watch, didn't he? Markandé.
That was because his contract was going, and he wanted to go.
But Conte was still manager. Yeah. Fair enough. But Conte was manager when he went. But yeah,
they did offer him a contract, but he refused it because he was done deal. He'd done a deal with Blackburn.
Has he been playing?
No, he got injured in his debut. He's out. He's basically out for the season, I think.
He got a grade 3 tear. The hamstring came away from the leg bone.
Yeah,
it was really bad, Bren. It's like that's the worst it could be.
That's what became, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
It's actually detached. The insertion point under your bum, it's actually torn away from the bone.
Bloody hell. Okay, apologies to Markandé for that.
I know, sorry. Yeah, but it's like it's almost. Do you think we knew about that before it happened? It's like we sell him, and then I don't know if it's just bad luck. I don't really believe in that when it comes to physicality and conditioning. But it's like, did we know something was going on there? Was there? Anyway, it's all here and there and by. But as I say, I don't think a lot of those young go under Conte's watch has got to come through unless they're like an Ollie Skip type kind of talent. I think we're going to see a lot of collateral damage of our young players going away, for the next 2 or 3 years, maybe even selling them on like we did with Markandé. It's just unfortunate, but that's the collateral damage under Conte, isn't it? That's the price you pay.
But but you can argue, Paul, that the last manager who had any kind of commitment to youth and bringing people through was Pochettino.
Well, isn't that a bit of a like that wasn't really true though, was it? He coached players better, but he didn't bring anybody really through, did he? From the youth academy, he didn't really blood many people. He made players better. He made your Walkers and your Danny Roses and Eric Dyers and those kind of people better. And obviously Kane started to switch on, but he didn't really bring a lot of people through, did he? He didn't bring
Mason Bentaleb. Were they already there? Yeah.
Well,
Sherwood gave Bentaleb his debut.
Yeah, you got Winks. He brought Winks through. For better or for worse, he did bring Winks through, and Winks had his best period at the club under Pochettino. Yeah. So,
I think the key will be the summer pre-season. That Winks got his chance because he obviously all in pre-season normally you're a bit short of players. And with England playing or internationals, there's a lot of internationals in June, aren't there? Some of these youngsters will get chances in pre-season. And Winks played very well. Was it a tour to Asia or Australia? I can't remember. And that's what impressed him. The same with likes of Tanganga. We impressed a lot of us when playing on pre-season. So I think Devine might get a chance because he's made it onto the bench a couple of times recently. White's a weird one. Now, maybe if we had the 5 subs rule in this season, White would have had a couple of chances. But I don't know. It's a bit. Given we're very lacking in midfield, you thought at some point he might have got a bit of game time.
He didn't bring anybody through from when he was at Chelsea, and as far as I know, he didn't bring any of the Italian youngsters through. As far as I could see, I don't really follow.
He's kind of a Mourinho-esque in that he likes a finished article.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he doesn't stick around long enough, So that's we knew what we were getting.
And this is what Paratici's got to do. Paratici's got to do what Liverpool are doing and start thinking about. I know it's weird, but succession planning. He's got to talk to these young guys as you say, look, okay, basically we'll put you out on loan, but you'll still be a Tottenham player because we know Conte's not going to be here in 2 seasons or 3 seasons.
But what do you think we do? Do you think we start to adapt towards a system? So Barcelona, for example, they have a system, and whatever manager they get plays that system. At Spurs, we seem to be adopting the system of whatever manager that we get in. Do you think that eventually we're going to have to identify like a system, be it this the system Conte's using, and then plan for that for the future. You know what I mean? And have that. And so whenever we buy players and then the manager leaves, we're not stuck with players that the new manager can't use. I don't know. I'd like to know you guys' take on that. You know, that I feel like that's we've been getting ourselves into trouble by buying players that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's what Paratici's got to do. Paratici's got to do what Liverpool are doing now by buying people like Jota, the young guy on the left that we're after, Konate instead of Diaz. Thank you, and Konate centre back. Konate is going to be their starter next season. Diaz is now going to be instead if Mane goes or Salah doesn't sign his new contract. It's perfect. That's like Premiership 101. That's absolutely perfect for Liverpool. To answer question, I don't know. I think, and Dave will probably jump in here as well, is that I think the DNA that Levy spoke about in the program last year, that's ripped up now. Levy's basically chasing short-term success and throwing money at throwing money at Conte to get that short-term success. And then if and when we win some stuff, we'll see where we're at. We'll see where we're at in 2 seasons' time, and then we'll probably start the cycle again. But hopefully, in the next 2 or 3 seasons, we'll win something, and then, Enoch can turn around and say, "Look, we won something under our tenure." I think that's where it's going to go.
Yeah, I mean, I think just to the point that Mourinho and Conte are not exactly project managers. They're short-term managers designed to get you trophies in theory, and off you go. What Liverpool have done, and I hate to say it because they annoyed the shit out of me, Liverpool, is that they've had Klopp for a number of years, and he's got 1 or 2 years left on his contract, and he's talked about that's it for him. But they've been really, really good in their succession planning, really impressive. They've looked at those front three and said they're going to go at some point. Jota was a fantastic signing. Diaz looks to be a good signing as well, and what they've done is impressive. And they'll look to, I think, replace Henderson as well in the midfield, or get someone for him. But they've kept Milner around on the books because he's come in and filled in 5, 6, 7 games a season, but a good presence around the changing room. As I said, I hate to say it, they've got the way they've gone about their business, and the way that the whole club has been joined up from the the execs, the directors, and the Fenway group. That's where they got to. I've always said it before, that game we beat them 4-1 at Wembley when I think Lovren went off after 30 minutes. That was a real footballing sliding doors moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Well, let's crack on. Someone's got like a whirring in the background, by the way. It sounds like a waterfall. So I don't know if it's someone's computer. But just to point out, so round up the internationals. Stevie Bergwijn scored again for the Dutch team. So was it 3 goals over the international break for Stevie?
Yeah.
Muir, what were your thoughts? Do you think that? Do you agree with Conte that he could be the backup striker that we're looking for? I just don't think he has the physical presence.
He's a unit. He's squat and his legs are massive for someone that small. He's strong. He's made of glass. I think if he took the number 9 role, he probably be injured after 6 or 8 games because he was from the physical battery you get from centre backs and defensive midfielders. I like Stevie B. I really do. I really want him to do well with us. I think he's going to find it difficult to get chances now because he's going to want to play more and more because he's looking good for the Dutch side. Dutch side are going to Qatar, so he's going to need games. I wouldn't be surprised to see him to go this summer or go out on loan because he's not going to replace Kulu. And Son seems undroppable. But then is he prepared to hang around and wait till one of us get injured or needs rotating for European club games? I'm not sure. I like Stevie. I don't think he's centre forward. I don't think he's a replacement for Kane because of his injury history, and he's made of glass. That's just my opinion.
John, mate, I think it might be you. The background.
Okay, if I just mute for a second.
Yeah, is it stop? It's stopped for me.
Stops.
Yeah, cool. So John, stop. Turn your waterfall off, John.
That means we can talk about Wales whilst he can't talk.
Speaking of, let's talk about Wales actually, because we got contrasting styles from FAs here. So we've got the Argentine FA that insisted that Christian Romero travelled with them, even though he was suspended. They insisted that he went. And the Welsh FA with Ben Davies, they're like, no, you're not injured. You just need a bit of a rest. Go home, put your feet up, watch Queer Eye for the night. Like it was just there was completely contrasting styles there. I was quite happy with that accent, by the way. That wasn't bad, was it?
I can't believe what I just heard there, personally, but
I thought it was a bit Ivor the Engine. I quite liked it.
I don't know why Queer Eye was the first program that came into my head as well. Anyway, but it was crazy. Like the Argentines insisted that Romero flew with the team on the off chance that maybe he would be able to play in a dead rubber game. They'd already qualified. It was just insane. They're trying to piss us off, aren't they, Colin? Sorry, unmute, mate. Sprung on you there.
Yeah, absolutely. I had it muted. I didn't know if I was the one worrying earlier, but yeah, no, you've hit the nail right on the head, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't know. I don't understand why we don't as a club. Well, I mean, the likes of Fergie, right? He wouldn't put up with any of that nonsense at Man United. We're just so nice about these things. We should have stamped our feet and said, look, he's suspended. He's going to fly over. He'll still be suspended. Keep him here. We had some players kept back.
Oh, we did. Risk of COVID. I mean, all kinds of.
Exactly.
We're just too nice, or we just don't bother and don't focus on these things.
I think it's because we get. I think it's because we get players that are slightly out of our reach, and so we give them like more leeway. You know what I mean? Like we feel like we can't be as tough on them because we're lucky to have them. And I don't believe that myself, but it just seems like we treated Tanji with a lot of respect and gave him a lot of room to make some errors and bad decisions, but we kept giving him chances. And I feel like since Spurs, have a hard time, we had to overpay. We had to overpay for Ndombele, his wages, just to get him to come to our club. And I feel like maybe some of that's carrying over, and we gave our players a lot more leeway than some other teams might.
Yeah. On just rounding up Spurs players in the internationals, Kulusevski is not going to be at the World Cup. Sadly, the team was knocked out. He was almost knocked out physically himself. I don't know, Paul, if you saw the blow he took to the head and the lump.
That's all right. Once opposition fullbacks in the Prem find out what he's about in the next couple of months, next season, he's going to get a lot of that. He's going to get a lot of people hitting him early. So get used to it, Kulu. It's not going to be so sexy now, is he, Sean? See? There you go.
Is Kulu sexy?
According to Sean and according to other females that have seen him play, he's a sexy ginger. But
sexy gingers. We have one here with us. So, there we go.
I will take that.
Yeah. You don't get these compliments from Caller, do you? So Sonny, South Korea lost to the UAE, but he's still going, obviously, to the World Cup. 19-year-old Callum Cisse, this was a great story as well, who made his first team debut for Sierra Leone, scored 2 goals, won a pen, scored the pen, and scored another goal. For a 19-year-old, David, it's the stuff dreams are made of, isn't it?
Absolutely. Good luck to him.
Yeah. And also, Davo, question remains: what is that? What's written on the hat, Davo?
Just make some noise.
Make some noise. Is it to get a Beastie Boys concert or something? Where's it from?
It's all the jungle nights I go to. Bit of drum and bass. Got to do that. It's my son's hat.
It's going to go 3 BD. Am I the odd one out here? I'm the odd one out. I'm not wearing a hat. I'm the odd one out.
I'm wearing, as I said at the start of the show, it's a tribute to Mr. Muir and a tribute to JP. He always has a beanie on. It's cold down in Melbourne. He's got to wear one.
Right, let's crack on then. We have a game finally. We have a game on Sunday at 4:30 live on Sky, Spurs Newcastle. Before we get into it, just want a quick random. I love doing this. Like your sort of most vivid Spurs Newcastle memory. I'll start with you, Colin, you sexy ginger.
Newcastle, my most vivid Newcastle memory.
Yeah.
It's It's not a good one. But it's us getting beat on the last day of the season by an already relegated Newcastle squad
with 10 men.
I'm sure you guys remember that match. Yeah. That's what I remember. It's seared into my brain, unfortunately, and yeah. Ugh. Thanks for bringing that up. But we'll get him. I think we're gonna get him this weekend. We'll have revenge.
Yeah, we will. Neil, how about you? Game just doesn't have to be a game, just a moment or whatever.
I was really gutted that we got beat, but last game of the season, 10 men went chasing the game and then got beat, done 5-1. That's the freshest in my mind. Apart from that, we haven't got too bad a record against them, I believe, so we should be okay. I do remember going away to Newcastle and then basically having to traipse up like a small Monroe. I know Monroe's in Scotland, but yeah, the away end at St James's, you're right up in the gods, and you've got to look down. It's like it's really steep, and it's like, hello, we're quite high up here, aren't we? So yeah, the away end and that looking down, thinking, yeah, I think I can see the pitch from here, kind of thing is another memory. It's but it's a good away day, Newcastle, or a good away weekend. It's a party city. It's good. It's good.
Okay, so you have a deep fried Mars bar and a few pints of Newcastle brown ale, and look at the girls in the tiny skirts when it's -4. Brilliant.
You're gonna get cancelled, Brendan.
I'm hoping I do.
Really
I'm hoping I do.
You really are.
Yeah. What about you, David? Come on, give a positive one. No, actually, no. Muir's away day was positive. Give us a positive one.
Yeah. Okay. Now, Paul, we might need to. Oh, actually, guys, might need to help with this one. It was Jerry France had taken over as manager. It was 94-95 season. A home game against Keegan's Newcastle. We won. It was a cracking game, really exciting. Klinsmann, Sheringham. I can't remember the score for the life of me, but it was a really, really good game, and we won it. I'm pretty sure we spanked them 5-1 or something, 85-86 season, something like 4-2. Do you remember that game? It was a cracking game.
Try and remember it
game. But negative memories. The one that really pissed me off was that 99 Cup semi-final when Dabizas had his hand up in the air, handball. We didn't get it. They won 2-0, and we should have won that. Shearer broke through at the end. I think Luke Young was playing centre back, had a good game. I think he whose name can't be mentioned was playing, and that was very frustrating. But yeah, the same one at the end of the season when we were second all the time, and then all the gooners at my work Monday morning putting their head round the corner. We've done it again. We've done it again. Oh, that fucked me off. Right, sorry, no PG rating on this one.
It's long gone, mate. It's long gone. I'd say the same for me. I'm like, my first one isn't really a game. It's when we signed Ferdinand and Ginola from Newcastle. I was like, how the fuck did that happen? Because they were top of their game at the time. I think Shearer had just gone to Newcastle. He played one season with Ferdinand, and they were bang on it. And they let him go. I think maybe he wanted to come back to London. We signed him for $6 million. We got Ginola on the cheap as well, who was superb. And I was like, we're going to do it. We're going to qualify for the Champions League, and we almost get relegated. So that's my sort of Newcastle memory. And obviously, the sad one was we lost 7-1. Again, I'm a child of the 90s, so all my references are from the 90s. We lost 7-1 to them. I think that season probably, or maybe the season before with Ferdinand playing for them. But yeah, so sort of 96, 7.
Well, is that the one we got? The one in the there was two, wasn't there? Because there was one that was 96-97 season, and Keegan resigned 3 weeks later after beating us, right? And then there was the cup one where they played the third round early because of the Euro 2000, and I think they played the third round in December. We got beat 6-1 or something, and that was it. Season over. That was George Graham.
Yeah, that's right. It was. We drew 1-1 at the Lane and then lost 6-1 up at theirs in the replay. Is my sound better?
Yes, you sound better.
Your Welsh tones are sounding beautiful.
Oh, Cadaben.
You missed my Welsh accent as well. Probably a good thing.
I'll watch it back later and then I'll abuse you.
Make sure you get your son to watch it as well, John.
I'll get my parents to watch it and then they'll really abuse you.
Oh, yeah. I'd love to be abused by your parents. John, Your most vivid.
Wait. They're in the late 70s. That's a little bit wrong on many levels.
Wow.
Even Caller doesn't go that wrong.
I'm trying to get cancelled. Help me out. Paul, your most vivid or like memory of Newcastle Spurs or Spurs Newcastle. John.
Oh, me. Sorry, I thought I was blocked.
Yeah.
I was trying to think. In the 34 years I've been going to Spurs, this is the first time I've actually seen Newcastle play, I think, this game on Sunday, weirdly. But a couple of games that come to mind, obviously, if I'm going to go the positive side, because we have a weirdly bad record at the Lane against Newcastle for some reason. But the 4-2, I don't know if Davo's mentioned that, where Sheringham scored a hat-trick. That was a brilliant game because they were a better team than us, without doubt, at that time.
So this is like Mr. and Mrs., where you take one partner out the room and then they ask the same questions and then you bring them back in. So we're synced up nicely. Carry on.
I'm not going to wear an E17 hat, though, so it's all good. We lost Colin. I'm trying to think what else. There's been a lot of really good games over the years, haven't there? I tell you what we might have on Sundays. Do you remember the game at Wembley where Sonny scored with about 10 minutes to go to make it 1-0? Where they defended really well and we just couldn't break them down. I could see Sunday being a really tight game like that. They're a very good team now.
Well, yeah, I saw them against Everton when Everton got their last-minute winner. There wasn't much between them. It wasn't a great quality game. I think they're probably safe now, so that might be creeping in. So they're like, well, we don't really need to put our fingers out, and I think we'll have too much for them. I think we do struggle against teams that sit back. We lost ball; they're dropping like flies. Yeah. We might, if they do sit back, which they likely will, we may have struggled to break them down, particularly with how we play. We're sort of hitting the quick transitions and the counters, but I think we'll have too much for them. Whilst they're gone, Davo, no injury concerns, additional injury concerns from the international break. That's always a good thing with Spurs, isn't it?
It's a massive relief because it's, we've had, Ben Davies got sent back. And I think that he should be fine. Obviously, I don't think Skip's quite ready. Tanganga's out for the season. Sessegnon's playing banjo strings of his hamstrings again. And, so I think we are where we are. The starting lineup should be same as.
Yeah, obviously with a little extra lump.
Oh, that's a lump. That's a lump. Look at it. It's like a twin brother growing from his face. Oh.
That's like a teenage boy's got a really bad spot.
Wow. Every section of society, Brendan, you're going for tonight. It's impressive. I like it.
Okay. Conjoined twins. Is that a no-no these days? Sorry.
Yeah. I stand with conjoined twins. Anyway, moving on.
We've touched on the Christian Romero going. Ben Davies sent back. We've touched on already. So John, what is the update on Romero avoiding bookings? Surely this is a game where he probably won't be at risk. There's Sam Maximin's probably their trickiest player. So as long as Dyer picks up Sam Maximin, we shouldn't really see Romero clatter into someone, should we?
I imagine Dyer will be picking up Chris Wood, won't he? Which is, I know he hasn't got a great record this season, but is a bit of a worry. So Romero has got 8 bookings in 16 league games, which is not a great ratio. We have played 29 games, I believe. So the 10-game booking suspension cuts off after game 32. So he's got 3 games where if he gets booked twice, he'll be suspended. If he only gets booked once, he'll be safe because it goes up to 15 games after that. So hopefully it'll be game by game. If he doesn't get booked in this one, and then what's the next game? Villa, isn't it? And then he'll be safe at Brighton.
Okay, so as long as there are no bookings against Newcastle or Villa, then he's good to go. Yeah?
Yes, absolutely.
Cool. Because he will, he'll sort of hold back and spring out and chop someone's head off. But I bet that's why they took him to Argentina, just to sit on the bench and stare at the other players. And he'll probably get booked for that as well. But his ratio of fouls to bookings as well is incredible. He's only committed like 12 fouls, but he's got the 8 bookings in those 12 hours.
But some of those fouls were spectacular. The one against Richarlison was just, beautiful, wasn't it? On many levels, but it was stupid. But although he put Richarlison out of the game because Richarlison didn't want to touch the ball, did he? After that,
yeah, you loved that, didn't you?
I did, yeah. That was one of my highlights of the season. Actually, when we do our end of season, I think I've said this before. There's a list of players who've got punchable faces. Richarlison's in the top 3. He just whines. I saw Everton, Newcastle, Monday Night Football a couple of weeks ago. It's possibly the worst game I've seen in a couple of seasons. It was awful. It was absolutely awful. It was 2 teams like just playing it around and like just overhitting kind of 15-yard chip passes straight out, and both the managers even like were just looking in their hands and like talking to their number 2s and stuff. It was an awful game. Richarlison, no, and Romero's tackle on him was one of my top 3 or 5 moments of the season.
Also, while we're here, 102 people watching and only 20 something likes. How many likes are we on though, John? I can't see.
Oh, I haven't got YouTube up because I didn't refire it up when I did my laptop. I'll have a look though.
Smash the like.
Somebody tell us. Someone put in the comments how many likes there are for us.
Yeah, and tell people to like it so we get more people to watch. Newcastle have lost their last 2 games as well after that run of good form under Eddie Howe. Is there a graphic somewhere?
There you go.
Look at that.
Look at this.
Chelsea and Everton.
So they were on a good run before that, and had some good results against some half decent teams. Got a draw against West Ham, beat Villa, who are a bit up and down. So we can't take them lightly. That's certainly Eddie Howe's made a big difference, and they were unlucky against Chelsea as well. And Chelsea, we know Chelsea how good Chelsea are. The only game they've really been poor was the Everton game.
Yeah,
I mean they were looking doomed at Christmas. You'd have thought at Christmas they're looking doomed, and how hilarious was it going to be to see Ant and Dec and the owner, who looks like someone from He-Man. Can't remember the character. But
Skeletor or She-Ra?
All those 2, that'll do.
Okay.
And that's me cancelled by the He-Man brigade. Love the supporters. It would have been absolutely. I mean, I love that. That's one of my highlights of the season, Paul. That's for their first game under the despotic regime, and they're all there, and all the Geordies are there, and they're all excited. And Ant and Dec doing their little jig, and after they go 1-0 up, and even Nuno managed to spank them. So that was, for me, that was beautiful. Seeing Ant and Dec's little faces drop.
They've bought quite well, haven't they? Bruno G. I think the lad in defence they got from Brighton. I think he's made a big difference. That Chelsea game you spoke about, they should have got a penalty and they didn't. They were robbed. They were robbed. They were robbed in that game. It's not going to be easy. It's I think it'll be a good game. I think they'll go. I think they're pretty much safe now. I think they'll go on a bit of a different run. But Bruno G, that kind of deep line kind of playmaker. Yeah, and you never know what you're going to get from Sam Maximin as well. So
he's not been playing recently, Sam Maximin. I
think he came off for 20-25 minutes. I know Callum Wilson's still out, who I can't quite rate. I think Callum Wilson is on his day when he's fit. He's a good player. St Maximin was out at the same time. He came back for 20 minutes against Everton. But we should have enough to beat them. We should. I think Trippier breaking his metatarsal is massive. I think he really helped them attack from the wing back, and it would have been really nice to see Trips back at the lane. To be honest, I think the way he left wasn't great. But we should be. But Bruno G, like that deep lying kind of midfielder, is the worry for me really. But I reckon, we should do them.
I mean, the only positive thing was Guimaraes played 90 minutes against Bolivia on the 30th. What's that, 2 days ago?
Was that in Bolivia as well? Yeah,
in Bolivia, yeah. I mean, they won 4-0, so I don't think it was a hard game.
I've been to La Paz, and trust me, the altitude, like I'm not a wuss with these sorts of things. I go to Mexico City, Bogota. La Paz is insane with the altitude. Really? So that will have knocked it out of him.
There's Brendan always going on about South America again. Honestly, I went up to the Opera House recently and did a show there. Is that what you want me to say?
Yeah,
I ran past Bognor Pier last week.
That's more like it.
And then Butlins. Dave, I reckon you need to get a coat, mate. Maybe a John Watson sheepskin. You're not looking cold.
No, I'm not cold. I just thought I'd show off some of my Tottenham scarves. You know what I mean? Get into the spirit. Okay. I was wearing this shirt last week at work, at working from home and on Microsoft Teams, and someone thought I was, standing with the Ukraine like this. So Levy's missing a real marketing opportunity in the brochure. Support your club and stand with the Ukraine, all for £80 or something.
I think you could call like Kevin and Perry go large there as well.
Yeah, I'm off to Ibiza.
Eyeball Paul.
Let's go global then. Let's go to you then, Davo, with Chris Woods. He's not. I was going to say he's banging him in, but he's not. He scored 1 goal in 10 for Newcastle, but he has given them something extra up front, and he scores against us. I'm sure he has for Burnley at some point. He's been an okay signing for them, hasn't he? For this sort of stopgap until they buy Messi next season.
Yeah, John, as I said, we carefully put this program together, and John said I would be answering questions on Chris Wood. So I've done extensive research into his career, and he scores once in every 3. He's a Kiwi. He scored against the Solomon Islands this week, tough opposition, and also, I think that what they did in January is I think they've made sensible Premiership signings, right? Not. They're never going to get the Mbappe's, Neymar Juniors, whatever, but they bought sensibly to ensure survival. And I think next season, we're going to see them more aggressive in the transfer market because they can guarantee Premier League football. So there'll be a step up in the players that they can buy and obviously the salaries they can pay. And they will become a threat to us. Maybe not necessarily next season, but the season after. And I don't think we can be complacent about it.
Mm. Well, John,
sorry, was that all right? Was that all right on the career of Chris?
Well,
Woods?
I'm just going to add for you because I've just been looking. What you missed out. He's actually played 4 games for New Zealand in the last week. He scored twice against Fiji, twice against New Caledonia in a 7-1 win. They played 20 minutes. He also played against Tahiti but didn't score, and then scored against the Solomon Isles. So he played 4 games and has had to fly back.
It's Lewandowski. It's a Lewandowski. Does that work? Lewandowski. Anyway, sorry.
Did he play in New Zealand? I didn't research that.
He played in the Solomon Islands the other day. So
sounds like the perfect gap year trip, doesn't it? It's like Chris Wood's gap year trip. Just like Tahiti, Solomon, did a bit of diving, did my dive master, blah 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 blah. Did my paddy and come back to Prem. It just sounds like what is it? New Caledonia? Don't they play? So Scottish...
his games of run were Southampton where he scored, Chelsea away, Everton away, Fiji at home, New Caledonia at home, Tahiti at home, and then Solomon Islands away. It's quite a bit of a variable there.
I think in the history of the Cheese Room, we've never given this much attention to an opposition player as Chris Wood as we've done tonight. So we should be keeping that standard up going forward.
We should.
New Caledonia. I thought they played in Scotland or something like that.
New Caledonia.
No. It's Pacific Islands, isn't it?
What I assume so because it's Oceania and all those places. But where the hell is it? I'm going to have to Google that in a minute and find out what that is. I've never heard of that country before in my life. Never.
Okay, Paul, what did you get in your GCSE geography?
You don't do stuff like that in geography, though, do you? You do about lakes meandering. And... You
didn't do GCSE geography?
No.
You did O levels, didn't you?
You had to.
No.
You're a cheat, John. I was the first year to do this. Tangent.
Oh, see, I was close.
No, I was the first. I was also first year. 1988, first year GCSEs.
Yeah. So you're Dave's the same age as me.
Dave, you are allowed to both do it. It's not not exclusive.
Well, no, but John. Yeah, but John, you're just getting back on me on the comment I made earlier about Australia when you said if Australia don't get to the World Cup, am I allowed to watch it? So you just and you're a bit Welsh anti-English tonight, aren't you, John? Yeah. I know that you want to get your Plaid Cymru banners out and all that business. blow up the holiday.
You're confusing me with the younger me, who's the politician. I don't care.
Apple doesn't fall far, as far as I'm concerned. Going to blow up some holiday homes belonging to the English. I know.
Oh, here you go. James has got a question for you.
Do I miss it? Yeah, I've hugely missed it. Is it cold in Australia or something? The clocks are changing this weekend. We're going to the winter time.
Does that make a difference? The clock's just being as cold.
I don't know. It's a tribute. It's a tribute to Mr. Muir, and it's a tribute to JP. Melbourne is bloody freezing half the time anyway, even at the height of summer. I'm just doing my tributes, showing my props, respects, as they say.
Yeah, I mean, our clock's changed. It started snowing. Definitely went the wrong way.
Thank you, Mr. Daniel Harrison, for that. Papua New Guinea way. It sounds like a cab driver. Yeah, it's Brixton, kind of South Croydon way. No, it's West Norwood. No, definitely South Croydon way.
Isn't that an old rave song?
It does sound a bit like from Only Fools and Horses, like Nelson Mandela House on Papua New Guinea way. It sounds a bit like that. Down in Peckham. Anyway, let's bring some order back. We lost one of our guests. I don't know why. Maybe he's gone.
The spin doctors rang him up. He's got to get back to rehearsals.
So let's go. Let's bring some order. Bring some order here.
Sorry.
Right, the 5 subs rule. I'll start with John. Yeah. Good or bad thing?
Good news. As I said earlier, there's so many games where we could give youngsters a chance, or even like I know Raf Hasenholz's had a bit of a problem, hasn't he, since he's been caught out with this players going down for an injury between 60 70 minutes. He's come out and said it's a good thing because he'll be able to make changes. I think teams, it just gives them a chance to try things. So we look at our bench and sometimes we're a bit lacking, but other times you think, actually, you could have put that player on and that player, or it depends. If you lose, oh, hello, he's gone.
This is like the Poseidon adventure. You keep losing someone by the minute.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's just, I think it's a good thing. I think players are playing a lot of football. And, the number of times, you want Kane to be taken off because we're 2-0, 3-0 up. But we've already made 2 or 3 subs. I just think it's a good thing, ultimately. And it was it Chris Wilder who was like the big anti-wit before? And now he's gone. He's at Borough. Yeah. Move on. Go on, Paul.
I don't know. We don't make subs, do we? Unless we got to give like Stephen Bergwijn.
Yeah, but that's because of the squad, isn't it? He doesn't trust the squad.
But yeah, it's just I don't know. I mean, it seems to work at the minute, doesn't it? The 3 or 4 sub rule. So I don't really know why we need to change it. To be honest, but I see. Seeming like was it 17 teams out of 22 or something? Or whatever it was,
20.
17 out of 20, and then if only I'd be nice to know what 3 teams didn't vote for it. I'd be very interested in finding that out.
This point, Paul. Sorry,
go on.
Let's just at this point here. This season we don't have a lot on our bench, but next season hopefully we will.
Yeah. After the summer transfer window, that golden land far away, where all the players will go. Yes, I will sign on the dotted line. Where's my photo with Antonio? Sorry.
It's player welfare, though. I think the key point that the guy from Frank, is it Frank, the guy at Brentford, or no, Thomas Frank?
Yeah.
He said it's about player welfare, is that we can keep our players fresher for longer and change things up. And I like the idea that the last 2 had to be academy players. It's not applicable. I don't think it's sort of it would work feasibly, but I think it's and people say it will benefit the bigger teams, but it will mean that we'll be able to bring through the younger squad players will get more game time. So we'll see the likes of Alfie Devine and Jack Clark, and they'll have more
Jack
opportunities.
Clark?
Is he still alive?
He's in Franco's cupboard, isn't he?
He's on holiday with Lord Lucan, isn't he? That's a nice 1970s reference, kids.
Yeah, with Shergar as well.
Yeah.
Have we all had our say on the 5 subs where I went and got a beer?
I haven't.
Go on.
I think we need to have more fullbacks on the bench so we can have more inverted wing backs and cross them over and all that kind of business. Invert those wing backs. It makes such a difference. So, look, as far as I'm concerned, we're not... Conte, who is great and I love, but will probably leave soon. His substitutions are a bit odd at times, and the point about that John made about an opportunity to bring off Kane and rest him. We haven't got a second bloody striker. Can we buy a second striker? Maybe one day we might play 2 strikers up front in some games. Who knows? In that mystical summer transfer window, let's see, shall we? So I'm indifferent. I don't think we use 5 subs a lot.
No.
Well, it's happening, so we've got to deal with it. And I think people say it may benefit the bigger teams. The little teams have it as well. So Stan Collymore made the point that the bigger teams will buy younger players earlier because they can guarantee them game time as well. I don't know. I think if it means that the games are better, then I'm all for it. Let's get predictions in for the Newcastle game. Start with you, John. Go around the room.
I think it'll be a goal in it. It's 1-0, 2-0. I'll go 2-1 Spurs.
2-1 Spurs. Davo?
John's gone with the HG call, which I normally do when I'm on and if HG's on. So I'll go 3-1 Tottenham.
Mr. Muir?
We'll win 3 or 4-0.
4-0. I'm going to go 3-0. I'm confident for this one.
Yeah.
And guess where we will be when we win 3-0?
Don't say it.
Motherfuckers. Fourth motherfuckers. So Arsenal, we're coming for you.
I mean,
sorry, go on. John.
Obviously, the Arsenal manager, whose name escapes me at the moment, got manager of the month, didn't he? So hopefully they'll lose against Palace.
Yeah, they've got Palace, haven't they?
Yeah, but
on the
Gooners, Kane got player of the month. That's
so, he'll get a broken ankle or something, won't he?
Oh, don't!
Oh,
Don't
for fuck's
sake! All right. Well, the Gooner game that's been rescheduled. Apparently, it's going to be the week of the 9th of May, so the penultimate week of the season. So I think it's like the 12th they're looking at the Wednesday.
Thursday the 12th they're looking at.
Thursday the 12th.
Thursday night, European English time. Sorry.
So
yeah.
Yeah. I didn't even say time, but John, is that? Do you think they got away with one there? The later it is, the better for the Goons, or by now does it not really matter?
No, ultimately, I think a night under the lights at the Lane, if we're still in it, happy days for us because our crowd will be bang up for it.
Yeah.
Will be that stadium will be rocking. The South Stand when it gets going, and some of the games I've been to, it takes a while to get going. But even against Morecambe, there was a little bit where once the South Stand goes, it is so loud and it makes such an atmosphere. The North London derby should be amazing as long as we don't concede early to Thomas Rositzky.
Yeah.
Because that's the last time they beat us, wasn't it? Was that 13 or 14?
Yeah, Sherwood.
Was it Sherwood? Was it?
Is it Sherwood?
Yeah, around that time. But they've got a great record at our place, and they've got some good players. But so have we, and we can beat them as long as we can keep our key players fit. We need Bentancur fit, we need Kane fit, we need Son fit, and Kulusevski fit. And Romero Romero, even if he does get suspended, will be back by then. So
Yeah, that's a good thing as well, because if he does pick up his suspension, his 2-game suspension, he'll still be back for the Goons game. So that was my key worry with that creeping suspension.
Yeah.
And Becky makes a good point there, as did you, John, that this is going to be the first time we'll have a full stadium for the Goons. Davo, it's going to be rocking, isn't it?
It's going to be rocking. It's going to be like that Tottenham Man City game under Redknapp, the playoff. It could be like that, the playoff for the Champions League. Let's hope we don't pick Casey Keller because he can't see under lights. And, David Bentley will be there waiting with a bucket of water to throw over Conte's head.
In his pants when he opens up a bar in Marbella, and that's the last we see of him. So, this is it. Yeah, I mean, it's gearing towards that. But we do need the Goons to start to slip up. I'm a bit worried that Vieira might lay down for them because he's such a gooner. No. You've got Chelsea when they play Chelsea. Is it in the middle of a Champions League 2 ties thing?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think so.
That's what I'm a bit worried about. That I worry generally. I stand up for
really.
Worrying. Yeah.
You never give that impression, Dave.
Don't I? I'm normally happy-go-lucky when I'm hanging out of V17, Brian Harvey and the boys.
See, I'm not that worried. I'm not that worried because look at this. Everyone's like, "Oh, they've got form. They're a consistent team." But who have they beaten over that? So they've beaten Brentford, Wolves. Who was the other teams they play? Like really like teams.
Villa they beat.
Villa. Fair enough.
Yeah,
but teams that you'd expect them to beat.
Yeah.
But I think this season it's enough for them to be flat track bullies. I'm not joking. They haven't played in Europe. They got knocked out third round of the cup, and look at if we get fourth, it'll be great, and we'll all be very happy. But let's face it, we haven't played well enough to be fourth in a normal season. Man United have been shocking. And then you've got the Goons of flat track bullies. West Ham have had a half decent season. So it's not been quality to get to fourth. So flat track bullies might be enough for them.
Doesn't matter.
I mean, they
doesn't
got
matter.
Palace.
Doesn't matter about the.
Go
on, John.
I was
Doesn't
going to say
matter
they've
about
got
the
Palace,
quality.
Brighton, Southampton. Then they got Chelsea. Then they got Man United 3 days later, and then they got West Ham. But again, that's around the time West Ham are in the Conference League.
Yeah.
So
Europa.
Europa.
Yeah, they're in Europa.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
And I mean, it would be fun. I mean, where do you go with last day of the season, Arsenal Everton? If Everton need to win to stay up,
Well, they're already down.
Well,
Yeah.
no, you hope that there's got to be something in it for Frank.
That's what we want. And
Yeah.
that's at the Emirates. We got Norwich away.
Yeah.
I know that our record against relegated teams for the last day of the season, beginning with the letter N, isn't that great? But you'd hope that they'd be eating the pies of Delia at half time or whatever. But yeah, it could go to the wire. But I'm just worried. I think they go out to Old Trafford. United are crap. I'm still annoyed about the fact that United are taking 6 points off.
It's not at Old Trafford. It's at the Emirates. That game.
Oh, is it? Well,
I
that's
was gonna
more in
say.
their hands.
No, I think United. I think it's quite clear there are the Ten Hag rumours this week have got stronger. It seems like they're trying to get their house in order as well. I think that's going to be a tough game for Arsenal. I think Palace at the weekend. Vieira's not going to roll over. Palace. Is it at Palace, John? The weekend?
Yeah. Well, it's Monday. It's Monday night football.
When that crowd gets going, it's probably one of the best stadiums I've ever been in the UK. It's brilliant, Selhurst Park, when it gets going.
When's the semi-final of the Cup?
I've been there because it's literally 15 minutes that way.
No, but what I'm asking is
15th, so 2 weeks later.
Okay, so my worry is that going to rest players for the semi-final. But sorry,
No,
Paul,
they won't do.
No, I think Zaha, if he's fit, I think Elise is awesome. I think he's a great talent. The lad they got from Celtic, he can put the goals in as well. They're good enough to turn Arsenal over at Selhurst. Absolutely.
Yeah, they are.
They are definitely. And Vieira, he'll want to prove something. He's not going to roll over. No way. And at Man U, the Man U game for Arsenal as well will be tough. But we can just control. We can win our games, and be nice to put a bit of pressure on, wouldn't it? Like we normally do. Spurs put the pressure on, and see where we go. But they're not better than us. Arteta's obviously not better than Conte, and they're 1-11 minus Aka, maybe Odegaard in the 10. They aren't better than us. Partey, he's not better than our midfield. Their centre backs. Ben White's not a £50 million central defender. No way. I don't care what the environment's been like. They've played in the league this year. It's been poor. They don't deserve fourth in my eyes. No way.
You're going to be at the game, Mr. Muir, on the 12th, I think we said it's going to be. I mean, Would that be probably the biggest game you've been to at the new stadium?
Yeah. Right, without a doubt. As I think Becky said earlier, it's the first North London derby with fans. It's going to be, and they bottled it, didn't they? They bottled it earlier in the season. Never, ever, ever forget that, because they had COVID and they had places at the African National Cup, but they sent 2 players on loan the next day. And that's going to be an amazing evening. It'll be an amazing evening. May weather will be kind of fairly warm, 60, 65 degrees. People having a few beers. It'll be excellent. And bring it on. Absolutely bring it on. It'll be brilliant.
Yeah. Okay, we'll start to wrap up now. As Mr. We are the man one said, there's only 51 likes, guys. Please, there's 100 of you watching. Please just give us a like quickly, just flick it and we're all good. So we're going to move on to birthdays. And on this day, Terry Yorath, who is Gabby Logan's dad, former Wales manager, was 72 earlier this week. I didn't know he played for Spurs. 46 games for Spurs, 1 goal. Gary Stevens, our very nice. Paul, you're going to hate me for this. I guess Paul knows that I name drop. But I was WhatsApping Gary Stevens on his birthday.
Oh, dearie me.
But he's coming on the YouTube.
You know any other football players? Brendan, do you know any other footballers? Are you quite pally with any other footballers?
Can you regale us of any more showbiz stories, Brendan?
I feel like the showbiz. showbiz column like thing in Piers Morgan in the Sun
Yeah.
back in the day. Like,
Don't compare me to Piers fucking Morgan. Come on, I can take a lot, but man,
John WhatsApped Shakin Stevens on his birthday. This is a lovely Welsh boy, all.
This whole house
This old house.
behind the green door. I can name them all.
Gary Stevens will be on the YouTube around the Brighton game.
YouTube or the audio? Do you mean the audio pod?
We'll do YouTube and I'll convert. Like when we get special guests on, it's worth the conversion and the edit.
Right.
So we'll get him on around the Brighton game.
What's another one?
What's that?
Paul's gone.
Oh, Paul's gone. Oh, he's gone again. That's fine.
Can I just quickly say hello to Jack Harris who's watching? He's not been feeling well. Wish you better, Jack.
Oh.
Love you.
Hello,
and
Jack.
Tom.
Hi, Jack.
Hi, Jack and Tom.
Hi,
There'll be
and
Jack
Tom.
watching. Tom will be listening to drill rap. Moving on.
Moving on. Japhet Tanganga turned 23 yesterday, and on the 29th of March 1986, birthday boy Gary Stevens scored the only goal in a 1-0 win over Arsenal. So this is a good time for Gary Stevens anecdotes, and we will have him back on soon. Hang on, a few more, another page. 2nd of April, so tomorrow, Teddy Sheringham is his birthday. Teddy as growing up, Teddy was my favourite Spurs player. And 31st of March was when we beat Chelsea 3-1. Should we leave transfers to another day?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're done. We've done an hour and a half. I think that's a good one.
We've not got any triv questions tonight.
Do you want a quick triv question on Sheringham?
Yeah, do some
Do you
triv.
mind?
Yes.
Do you mind? Sorry.
Okay, so his first spell at the club was 197 games. How many goals?
Well, Sheringham.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. 90.
Dave?
Oh, sorry, Dave.
Go on, Bren. Oh, you
Oh,
were
go on, Bren.
I'll go with 92.
Okay, Dave.
That's a lot,
87.
It was 98. Well
Oh,
done, Bren.
fuck.
Ooh.
Woohoo.
Okay, and his second spell, 80 games, 2 seasons. How many
Yeah.
goals?
This is, I'd say, I see even 40 is a lot. 32.
He was
Dave?
less successful.
Yeah.
35.
It was 26. He got 13 both seasons,
Oh.
surprisingly.
Who won there? Sorry, did I win the second one or did Dave win?
I think David got the you were closer, Dave, weren't you? The second one, so it was a 1 or draw. And I'll just give you okay, here's a guess for you. 926 club games he played. How many goals do you reckon he got? Paul can jump in this one. Teddy Sheringham, Paul. 926 games in total in his career. How many goals?
Spurs or total?
Total.
Total.
This is his career. The international, United, everything. Yeah.
Not international. This is
Okay.
club games. 926 club games.
Okay.
Millwall, Portsmouth, West Ham, the lot.
Forest.
200,
Yeah.
285.
Okay, Brendan,
I think it's a bit more. I'll go 340.
Dave.
355.
It was 361.
Oof, well done, Dave.
Well done, Dave.
Thank you. I'm the knowledge.
I've got a couple more quick ones for you, Brent. Jonathan
Yeah.
Blondell was
Great
born
player.
the 3rd of April 84. Played 2 games for us. I was at one of those. He was supposed to be the next good big thing, wasn't he? We brought him out from
Yeah.
Belgium. And on the 5th, we'll leave that. We'll leave that to Monday.
Jonathan
Oh, yeah, 'cause that'll be
Blondell,
after.
he's in the next big thing Hall of Fame at the Tottenham
With,
Museum.
the
Rowing
lad-
wickets.
The lad from Palace that we got.
Oh, yeah, it's
John Bostock.
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 Yeah. Bostock.
Yeah.
Giovanni,
No, the
Dos Santos.
Mexican.
Giovanni
Yeah.
dos Santos. Yeah.
He played all right
Barcelona.
after he left. For Mexico, he was incredible. Like he is incredible. I think he
is.
still plays. Like he's
Yeah,
super.
and he played in the MLS, didn't he? And I saw a game where he played against the Rapids. I can't remember. I was over in the States, and he played for LA. He was great.
His brother played for Mexico as well.
Yeah.
I think
Jonathan.
he liked to party a bit too much.
That's because he got put into a taxi one night by Alan, what's his name, and then Redknapp said, didn't he, Dave, that if only he could pass the ball as well, he could pass a nightclub. And that was the one thing, yeah, and that was it. That was his career over because Harry Redknapp said that.
One of my favourite Redknapp quotes was, do you remember the Portuguese player, Danny?
Yes.
Danny,
Yes.
who was really good looking. Redknapp
Yeah.
says, he came to the club, didn't know whether to play him or fuck him. Yes, Harry.
You're getting so cancelled, honestly.
From the Redknapp brigade. Like, anyway, right,
The good-looking Portuguese brigade, which, considering you live in Brazil, could be true.
Oh, guys, it's been great fun. John, thanks for joining, mate.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Thanks for coming on and jumping in for Caller, who's, being a wuss and he's ill again. That man is ill more than anyone, I think.
He was putting it on with the WhatsApp note. He was, oh God, thanks for doing it, man. I was like, you need to fake it with me. It's all good.
What was he doing? The Sean Dyche impersonation?
Davo, great chatting, mate. Great fun.
Lovely to see you all. A lot of fun. I might take this hat off as I head off to an all-day club listening to Drungle and drum and bass.
No,
Drungle?
you have to.
Drungle, yeah. That's what 50-year-olds listen to.
You have to wear that all day. That's the rule. You can't change out of that until today.
I look like a nutter.
Mr. Muir, always fun. Are you podding on Saturday night? Sunday night, isn't it?
Sunday night, if I get back and I'm sober enough. Yeah, sorry about jumping in and out tonight, but my internet's playing. I think it's because maybe some people are piggybacking onto my internet from my building. I'm not sure, but it's very, very slow. So I'm sorry I kept dropping in and out. But
Are you going to hunt down those people?
I am. I'm going to go full on kind of cam cream and nods and abseil from the top of it. Is that what you think is going to happen?
Yeah, you're stealing my Wi-Fi.
Yeah. I'm going to change the password. I don't know what's going on, but it kept dropping in and out. But hopefully I'll get back in time to pod on Sunday night after his stuff before now.
Yeah, mate, change your password. I think you change it from I hate Richarlison because it's too easy. Everyone knows what your password is, mate. So cheers, thanks for watching, and do listen out for the pod, which will be out on Sunday night, and the gang, the YouTube gang, will be back on Monday. And as ever, come on, you Spurs!
Come on, you Spurs!
Come on, you Spurs!
Come on, you Spurs! Big up!
John, do you want to do that?